Ubisoft, man, you can all the way off. Ubisoft never really a gem in anyone's eye when it comes to the game industry or their favorite game publishers, producers, whatever. I mean, they're no EA. They didn't, kill a game like Dead Space just to expect applause when they bring it back. But Ubisoft, specifically the studios in my own backyard here in Canada, I think their last objective is to make a good game anymore, or even have an interesting story, man. A new report came out today that the two teams that work on the Assassin's Creed series, they pass it back and forth, like Call of Duty does, with Ubisoft Montreal creating the series and Ubisoft Quebec changing the series when it came to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the current format of the series, the weird like RPG, explore the world, conquer each marker type thing. Now they have come together to create the most ambitious, super highly anticipated Assassin's Creed game there ever was. Yeah, could you even possibly get excited for a new Assassin's Creed game? But with this next big Assassin's Creed, they want to make sure that they can support it forever. And you know what that means? How do you support a game when you're as greedy as Ubisoft? Well, you make a games as a service and hope that it clicks. With Bloomberg's report even saying that they were inspired by the model from games like Fortnite and GTA Online. This report came out saying that the project would be called Assassin's Creed Infinity. And then shortly after, Ubisoft released a blog post confirming this detail. That yes, they are working on a live games as a service Assassin's Creed game. And for the first time, both the studios in Montreal and Quebec would be working on Assassin's Creed game together. Does anyone care? In fact, Ubisoft, you can really off, because most of your content updates in Assassin's Creed Valhalla required microtransactions with stupid things like armor sets. People getting so fed up because there were more armor sets in the DLC than they were in the base game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they said they were going to support this game like crazy. Even if that game bored me to death with like 20 hours between something actually interesting happening, I did appreciate that they weren't going a yearly release thing, at the very least bi-yearly, and continuing to support AC Valhalla to keep things fresh for the current player base. But man, the base game is ridiculous. And that's where, even if it's not my thing, I do appreciate a studio that will support something for the current player base, or give incentives for players to come back, especially in a single player game. The new AC formula at times kind of feels like a single player MMO. So to have that watered down even further to compensate or to allow for this to be a games as a service model, man, at least Fortnite is free. At least GTA 5, the initial selling point was the story content as they updated GTA Online. So there was still stuff to do. Well, Assassin's Creed Infinity is a few years away, so assuming in the meantime that they will still continue to support Assassin's Creed Valhalla with actual content and story expansion on its way, more castles to invade or a weapon. Woo. This time around, because they never want to make a new Assassin's Creed again, there's going to be multiple different regions to go in. You know how each Assassin's Creed is based on one period of history. Now you can go through different themes, I guess. It'd probably be just that they're going to be content updates per period. Assassin's Creed Infinity Season 1, The Black Plague. Assassin's Creed Infinity Season 2, The Great Depression. Or maybe it'll be like a stupid gacha game. Hey, I just dropped $90 and got Ezio from a loot crate. Alright, here's my quick post review of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The Asgard part was interesting. Pillaging became so tedious and terrible because everything was laid out the exact same. Even the castle sieges were laid out like the exact same. There needs to be more variety. The bosses were cool. There needed to be more of that. Stealth is a joke now. Skill point progressions doesn't feel good because you get it from talking to stupid NPCs or dumbass kings or looking at a thing weirdly. And progression or customization doesn't mean anything, playstyle, whatever, because halfway through the game you basically unlock the whole skill tree. Just make your game shorter. If you're gonna have a massive map, then honestly do what Skyrim did, where the main story content was short and sweet, and then there's a bunch of cool stuff that you can do outside of it. I can't believe I'm praising Skyrim, but they actually had that type of format right. Assassin's Creed has a big map and you have to go everywhere for no reason just to see the map. Just make the actual main story, because it actually had interesting moments, short and sweet. It did not need to be that long. And now this games as a service game live, whatever, if it's just gonna be reskinned castle sieges with okay or passable combat, bro, I'd rather play Platinum's Babylon's Fall than this. And typically for this type of stuff, I hold my breath and be like, oh, I'll give him benefit of doubt and whatever. Ubisoft can off. The past 2 years, a bunch of hard allegations came out that I'm not going to go into detail because I want to monetize this video, but you can look it up. There's lots of reports on this, and I'll leave the Verge's report in the description. But it's come to light that basically nothing came out of this. Like full-on abuse stories and just a gross environment that upper management cultivated. None of them got fired, but cancel culture aside, they didn't even get like a slap on the wrist or anything for actually doing terrible things, if some of these allegations are right, which there's a lot. But a spokesperson at Ubisoft coming forward and saying, no,
no, the things were done. The inside report says that nothing was done, but things were done. These managers had to take
an HR class. Wow. I don't care if these guys have to take a multiple choice sensitivity test. You know, they're still cashing out that CEO and director bonuses. Yeah, so all that whole Ubisoft accountable stuff that was trending on Twitter like a year ago, not much happened. Just, hey, oh, these guys took some HR classes. Please subscribe to our battle pass at Assassin's Creed Infinity. Yeah, Ubisoft, get the hell out of my face. Modern EA is better than you right now. Like, does that not speak to how out of touch they are that a big announcement is we're working on a games as a service thing for Assassin's Creed? If their mainline games are buggy, I don't even want to think about a release of something like this. And if you're tired of this franchise, well, so are the employees at Ubisoft. With the shift of working on this new ambitious games as a service game, reportedly causing a number of turnovers or people leaving the company to go work for other smaller studios in Montreal or the Quebec area. So yes, Assassin's Creed games as a service, now with double the developers working on it. Man, Ubisoft, you can. On to other news, talking about the Nintendo Switch OLED, or the new Nintendo Switch. Although I and many others were mostly underwhelmed by the reveal, I gotta give Nintendo props on stuff that for once in a very long time I'm saying they're actually being pro-consumer. Is the Switch overpriced for the hardware and never going down? Oh hell yes. But some new updates since the reveal yesterday. You can buy the dock alone only on the Nintendo website, and the Switch OLED dock will work with the original Switch. It doesn't come with a power adapter or HDMI though. So if you just want the more sleek dock with the integrated Ethernet port, there's that option. In a report from Digital Foundry, it was confirmed that the code name for the new Switch that we saw through data mining, which was Project Ola or Aula, was indeed the Switch OLED, and that development kits were actually given out for the new Switch. And with these dev kits just for the new display, it was confirmed that the game actually has no idea what version of the Switch it's running on, meaning that there's going to be no new Switch OLED features in games as people thought, because on the Nintendo website they said, oh, it's got double asterisks under the OLED games, saying that games might be slightly different because of the different display. Well, this report confirms that there can't really be a way of games to have a OLED specific feature, and Nintendo was very upfront with Doug Bowser saying that this is for people that play it in handheld, and this isn't going to be for everyone. So okay, they doubled down in handheld, the strongest feature that the Switch has, but saying that they want to accommodate all ways of play and that they want to improve on every way that people like to play. So we have two new Switch models targeted for people that like to play it on handheld, but nothing for docked. And with how interchangeable these docks are and the hardware or the actual SoC Tigra X CPU that the Switch uses in the actual console being standard, bro, maybe we actually could just get a new dock one day that has this DLSS 4K support. I know it's wild that I'm still on this, but it's very likely. Everything else in the data mine has been confirmed other than that dock with that new processor. The leaks, reports, and data mines always said that it was going to be a 720 OLED display, but with how openly interchangeable the docks are, and with the Switch, according to Doug Bowser, being in its midpoint life cycle, 5 years left of the Switch to go pretty much, give it a few years and we'll probably see the real quote-unquote Switch Pro. And then the dock processor handles the upscaling, hopefully not having to overclock the Switch's processor and melting it, but this is possible. For once, Nintendo was pretty pro-consumer other than their pricing, by explicitly right away stating there's no crazy hardware improvements, there's probably some optimizations like I said, and that this really is for people that like to play in handheld. With Doug Bowser saying if you play your Switch mostly in dock, just skip out on this, but also kind of saying your time will come, man. We gotta do something for every type of gamer, right, Doug? Come on, hit me up. Let me play Astral Chain in 60 FPS, please. That's the first time in a long time that I was saying, okay, good job, Nintendo. You were actually clear about your marketing for once. Guys, don't buy this if it's just a slight upgrade to the performance. This is for handheld gamers. There's a really good chance one day we'll see a dock upgrade. But do you know what else is getting that DLSS upscale technology? My mom! I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2. Both the single player and online for PC is getting NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling coming to the game on July 13th. That will be a part of its Blood Money expansion to Red Dead Online. I like how we're in the era of gaming of just increasing FPS and graphics for old good games. I don't mind that, actually. I don't. Mainly when they're just free updates. I'm gonna rapid fire some quick news. Just a reminder that there's a state of play on Deathloop tomorrow, also including some third-party and indie updates. I wonder if Sony's gonna get blasted by indie studios again. King of Fighters 15 has a soft release date of the first quarter of 2022. Are you okay? Among Us for the PS5. Among Us for the PS5. Danganronpa Decadence got a release date, that big 4-game pack. It's coming out for the Nintendo Switch December 3rd. It's like Among Us, but anime. And last piece of news, this one's more about the industry. DICE LA has rebranded to Ripple Effect. So now there's DICE and Ripple Effect. Ripple Effect Project is working with DICE to work on Battlefield 2042. So I don't know, it's just a bit of an interesting rebrand. I mean, of course, DICE LA was going to be working on Battlefield 2042, and they're working on their own project, which is probably why this rebrand happened in the first place. In fact, we might find out what that game is because all this month is EA Play Live, with Battlefield 2042 being shown tomorrow for the FPS showcase. That'll be it for this one. Leave a like, subscribe to keep up with gaming's biggest news story, albeit very biased. Y'all just got dumped on. Bye-bye.